our ninth Fly Deep Rise Above video post, and I'm happy to see you here. Hello, Deep Flyers. We're building a little library. If you're new to the channel, my name is Clay, and if you like what you see, please be sure to hit the notification and/or subscription button to be notified of future posts. Now, we've been flying deep into some of humanity's biggest questions, and then we rise above with scenic aerial video set to song. In our last post, we learned that virtual particles and atoms are in feedback loops with the quantum vacuum. And since all physical matter is made of atoms, our universe is alive, all of it. And it is all talking. There's no such thing as dead matter. This post will fly deep to take a closer look at what makes up this energy field at the base of reality, and then we'll rise above over the Padre Park section of the San Antonio River with good music and scenic video. This post is foundational to future posts, as we're going to talk a little science and a little math. So don't run away, it won't hurt too much. Hold on tight and let's fly deep. You may have noticed I'm still working on design for the studio. This is the flying version, and this is Paco. In case you haven't heard, this is UFO disclosure month, so I thought I'd invite Paco to take the ride with us today. Say hello, Paco. Did you hear him? He's telepathic. In our last post, we learned that our scientists have found an energy field at the base of reality. This is not a brand new discovery. Our physicists have known this for more than 100 years now. Those in the centers of influence chose to ignore it because it was too incredible to believe. Today, however, our technologically advanced tools of science are telling us it is too incredible to ignore. Today, not only do we know that the quantum vacuum exists, but we also know it is filled with these little fluctuating electromagnetic oscillators called Plancks. Think of the Planck as the smallest pixel that we can see in our universe. The Planck was discovered by the German physicist Max Planck in 1900. Max was working on improvements to Thomas Edison's light bulb, and he needed a constant value to hold his mathematical equations together. That constant turned out to be what scientists today call the Planck constant. This constant is so foundational to our existence that scientists give it its very own letter, the letter H. The Planck constant has an energetic value of about 6.67 times 10 to the minus 34 watts. Now don't let that scare you away. This simply means that this is a very small energy value. The negative exponent means moving the decimal point 34 places to the left. The tiniest charge we can measure of the tiniest thing we can see. The Planck constant allows us to measure the energy of a single photon. Remember, a photon is a single particle of light. It also allows us to relate mass or matter to electrical frequency. Now, Max didn't realize it at the time, but he had uncovered the fundamental particle of the universe. Later on in 1918, Max Planck was awarded a Nobel Prize in Physics for his discovery, and he was deemed the father of quantum theory. Remember, quantum refers to the tiniest individual units of energy in our universe. Now, one more thing about Mr. Planck. He was the only influential physicist of his day to give Albert Einstein a microphone. His colleagues regarded Mr. Einstein as a quack and a kook. Thanks, Max, for both of those contributions. Now, you can picture the vacuum as a sea of plasma, and where these Plancks oscillate and spin in coherence, they create through geometric fractal growth what we call the physical world. Notice the waves produced by these spinning vortexes. These, of course, represent electromagnetic waves in the space inside of us and all around us. Now, these are complex processes described through complex mathematics, but you get the general idea. All physical matter begins with Plancks originating from the quantum vacuum energy field. Now, there are links below if you wish to fly even deeper to understanding how Plancks in the vacuum produce physical matter. Before we move on to our Rise Above segment, let's take a quick look at how physically small the Planck unit really is. Now, our bodies are made of about 100 trillion cells. Each cell is made of about 100 trillion molecules. Each molecule is made of about 100 trillion atoms. And atoms are 99.99999% space. At the center of the atom is the 0.0001% we call physical matter, the proton. The proton is made of about 10 trillion Plancks. That's a lot of Plancks. If we grew the Planck to the size of a grain of sand, the diameter of the proton would be from our sun to Alpha Centauri, about 26 trillion miles. The Planck is really teeny tiny. So of course, we don't experience it at an external physical level in our daily lives, but we can experience it internally. Something to explore in future posts. Now, even though the Planck is tiny, there are so many Plancks oscillating in the vacuum that the vacuum has a measured energy density of 10 to the 93 grams per centimeter cubed. Think of a sugar cube of vacuum. That is a 1 followed by 93 zeros. To understand the magnitude of that energy, if you squeezed all the physical matter of the universe, stars, planets, and everything else, into that same size sugar cube, the energy density would be 10 to the 55 grams per centimeter cubed. Now that's a lot of energy, but the vacuum energy is 38 orders of magnitude greater, and for all practical purposes is infinite. This is what we call 0-point energy. 1 billionth of a billion of 1%, a teeny weeny tap of this energy would run our entire planet for thousands of years. Now, one more note on Plancks and protons. When you fill the proton with all the Plancks it can hold, its energy density is the exact density of all the matter in the universe, 10 to the 55 grams per centimeter cubed. This suggests, and our most badass physicist, Nassim Haramein, has shown that all the information in the universe is contained in every proton in the universe, and all protons are connected holographically. It appears that we are all a part of one thing, and everything is truly connected. We'll close our Fly Deep segment with a short clip from the guy who is bringing this science to the entire physics world, Nassim Haramein. In this clip, Nassim explains that not only does the vacuum produce physical matter, but it appears that the quantum vacuum is also the source of consciousness.
The word consciousness is undefined in current science. You know, if you mean, does it define self-awareness? Well, not the Planck field itself, but the dynamic of the Planck information in a feedback is what we call self-awareness, is what we call consciousness. Is because you're absorbing information, feeding it to the Planck field through the quantum oscillating of all your protons and neutrons and electrons and all this stuff. So I wouldn't be able to say the Planck field is consciousness, because I would have to say, well, the Planck field is just information, but the flow of that information into feedback loops, into singularity, into feedback loops of a point, right, is what we call evolution, is what we call consciousness, awareness, self-awareness, is to be able to send something in the field and have it come back and say, I am that I am who I am, right? I see myself in the mirror and I say, that's me, right? That is self-awareness. Consciousness is the flow of the Planck field. It's the flow of information through the metrics of matter, because matter is the Planck field information. So think of the information moving through the Planck field information moving through the different scales of density through the material world, which self-organize as a result, and then, you know, eventually creates complexities through the feedback, complexities that are high enough that enough information can be maintained in that region of space so that the system becomes self-aware. And that's what we call consciousness.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Time to rise above. For this Rise Above flight, we'll take a short glide up the Padre Park section of the San Antonio River. We'll fly across a portion of the park, up the river, do an aerial focus on the historic ruins of the Hot Wells Bath and Spa, and fly across the river headed back to our starting point. Now, I chose groove music for this video because the flight felt groovy. Enjoy the flight, and we'll close on the other side.
Come, fly with me.
Hope you enjoyed that aerial ride. Padre Park is just one of the many beautiful nature areas to explore here in San Antonio. Now, Nassim Haramein's lifelong work in physics is changing how we see our universe, our world, and ourselves. His unified field theory unifies Einstein's theory of relativity, the study of the big stuff, planets, stars, us, things like that, with quantum physics, the science of the smallest stuff. It resolves our current mainstream physics' biggest challenges in explaining the phenomena of dark matter, dark energy, and gravity with mathematical precision and elegance. It also explains consciousness, which is notoriously missing from our current standard model of physics. Physicists around the world are recognizing the foundations of Nassim's work. Now, this new understanding of our universe is paradigm shifting. It is shaking the science that we've built civilization upon to its core and opening doors to highly advanced technologies. By the middle of the next decade, we will look back on today, and it will be like us today looking back 100 years. We are at the cusp of transitioning from a civilization modeled in scarcity to one that is modeled in abundance. Change is happening fast, faster than we think. So strap in. In the next post, we'll look at some of these changes on the horizon and the challenges to achieving them. This has been a long post. Thanks for hanging in there. Until next time, beautiful people, continue to take care of yourselves and your family. Love and peace to all. Say goodbye, Paco. You hear?